Okay, day 3 of Big Miller Basketball Media Days here at First Community Bank. First of all, we would like to thank First Community Bank for allowing us to use their beautiful facilities. Couldn't do this without them. Here on the last day, we have 28 teams today. We would like to thank all the fans for tuning in. We'd like to thank all the teams, all the players for coming. Without you all, this would not be possible. So once again, thank you for allowing us to bring you this media day, and enjoy. Okay, up first we have PA High School. We have PA Academy High School boys basketball. Head coach Trent Morgan is leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
Doing well. Thanks for having us.
Give us a little intro about yourself and let us know the players that you brought with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Trent Morgan, this is my 5th year as our head basketball coach. Love PA, love our school. A little recap about last year. Had a good start to the year. I want to say, we start 6-0, something like that. I think we might have been the youngest team in 4A last year. We started 3 freshmen, 2 juniors. We were right there kind of in the 3rd, 4th spot for a long time, fell to the 5th spot, so just missed the regional tournament. But this coming year, really excited about the guys that we have back. We're returning, I want to say 90% of our team from last year. Really wanted to kind of highlight these 4 seniors. That's why I brought them here today. It's very easy nowadays, especially with the transfer / specialize in one sport era that we're in. It's saying a lot for these guys to recommit to one more year coming back for their senior year, because I think they notice and they recognize the team that we have coming back, the potential that we have. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce these guys. You got on my far right, you got KJ Colin. He is gonna be a 3rd-year starter. He'll be our 2 guard. Side note, I think he just committed to OBU, right, to play football, so that's big time. And for him even to come back, even after committing to play football, I mean, that just speaks about his character and about his love for his brothers on this team. Next to me, you got Connor Coldren. Again, another going to be a 3-year starter for us. He's our big guy inside, looking for him to have a really good year, kind of playing him more with his back to the basket this year, more of a physical presence, so excited about what he brings. To my far left, you got Walden Culpepper. Man, Walden just does anything we need him to do on the court. Okay, he kind of does our dirty work, guards whoever we need him to guard, rebounds, excellent. And then you got Eric Park. He's been playing in this program since 7th grade. I would probably say this: Eric's probably our smartest player on the team. He knows dang near every play, every defensive rotation. So, man, these 4 guys are kind of our heartbeat this year. They're our leaders. I'm going to lean on these guys a lot this year to kind of take us where we want to go. We have a team, I would say probably our hungriest team that I've coached since I've been at PA. We're kind of fed up with being on the outside looking in. Like I've said, the last couple of years we finished in that 5th spot, and we got a bunch of guys that have bought back in, and we're looking forward to having a really good year.
So with that being said, Coach, give us your outlook on the season and some of your goals you're planning on achieving.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we fully anticipate competing for a conference championship this year. The conference looks different, as y'all know, and I think we have the guys. Having that young team last year, these guys gained some experience moving forward. We're hoping that year pays dividends for this year. And if we're not competing for a conference championship, and then also making a run in the playoffs, we didn't do our job.
Listening to you introduce all those guys, very familiar to us that cover football, and they're having another great year. It's typical PA way. So you mentioned the 3 freshmen that you started. Who are some of the ones that you're going to be relying on while these seniors and maybe some others are in football?
Yeah, so our 3 freshmen that played a lot last year, you got Vatan Paydak, and it's crazy. These kids sprout up every summer. Vatan grew a couple inches. He's 6'3", lefty. He's really been hitting the weights. He's our point guard. Look for him to make a big splash this year. Our 3 guard is Cole Rockwell, 6'3" guard, can really shoot it. Brings a lot offensively for us, and he's really bought into guarding this year. And this summer we saw his defense step up, so that's big. And then playing our kind of small forward, our 4 spot is Javion Walker, and man, he's just an energizer. Like he does a lot for us. Guards, he's kind of undersized at his position, but for him, he's got heart, and that doesn't really matter. So really relying on those 3 young guys a lot this year.
Just to piggyback off that, let's talk to the players.
Yeah.
KJ, I know you play football, and what's going around the town is you had a heck of a game the other day. Talk about that, and I know it's basketball, but I find what you did was very impressive, man. And just talk about it a little bit and give us the outlook on the season coming up in basketball from all you guys. Start with you, KJ.
We played Cabot last Friday, and it was a dog fight. And so I had 2 touchdowns, 217 kickoff return yards, and then a pick 6, and then I had a forced fumble to seal the game. And I think if that didn't happen, I feel like the game would have been a little different because we only won by 9, and it was their homecoming. So yes, sir. And then as far
I will interrupt. I said you played kind of like Charles Woodson, and I was proud he actually knew who Charles Woodson was. But yeah, he balled out Friday night. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then as far as basketball, I'm just looking to take that next step. I'm sick of going home in March, so that's really my goal.
Yeah, kind of the same thing KJ said. You know, we've missed out on playing in March the last couple years, and I think that if we buy in and just like play as well as we know we can make a run.
I feel like we have the ability to shock some people this year and make a deep run in regionals. I feel like we have the team to do it because we've been playing together for so long. We've got that tight chemistry that we can just work with each other really well.
And so we're all football players, and usually after the season we just go right back into football. So, but this is our senior year, so we want to like actually go win that conference championship and make it worthwhile.
Yeah, so Coach, he talked about leadership and how he's relying on you guys. Talk about your leadership role and how would that impact your team going forward?
I would say I'm more of a vocal leader, especially in practice. Like, if the energy's down, I like to talk a lot, bring some energy to practice. And also, if we're slacking, I get on to the guys. And I expect them to do the same if I'm slacking.
Just kind of push the guys, you know, like everybody doesn't come to practice every day wanting to get work in, and just kind of pushing those guys to make sure it's like we have a shot this year to kind of motivate them and pick them up.
I'm also, like KJ, it's the vocal leader, but then I also try to be a leader through my actions to show the younger kids what's right and what's wrong.
We do a lot of morning practices, like early in the morning before school, and you can just tell no one has energy, and so I just try to bring that just a little bit of energy that can spread throughout the team to want them to be there.
Coach, what would
Yep.
you say this team's strength is coming into this season? I mean, I don't know if you had practice yet, but what would you say this team's strength is?
Yeah, we've been grinding already. I mean, having most of your guys on the football field makes it a little challenging, but we come in one day a week before school. We also come in on Sundays to get some skill work. But, man, I think our guard play can compete with anybody in our classification in the state. And so we do a lot of things to highlight that, get these guys in space where they can create. I love what our guards bring to our team. We got some, obviously Connor, big physical guy inside. So I like how we can play multiple styles. So I think that's probably our strength.
So this to the players. I heard you guys talk about you want to get back to the dance. You want to go to the championship. Talk about how important it is for you guys to get off to a great start, going into the season.
I would say this year is probably the most non-conference games we'll play that I've ever played. We play like 15 games before January, starting like December 5th. And I feel like that's big, especially last year we played like some not so good teams, and I think that was why our record looked so well, or why it looked like we were really doing good. Well, I mean, we were, but like I feel like the competition this year in non-conference is going to help us when we start conference.
Hey, just to piggyback off that, Coach, talk about scheduling, that non-conference schedule. Talk about it.
Yeah. So with the realignment of our conference, and this really works out for us since a lot of our guys go pretty deep into playoffs and football. We don't have our first conference game, like KJ alluded to, until January. And so that allows us to play a bunch of non-conference games. I think we start off playing in the Sheridan Classic, got Sheridan, Cabot, and Hall in that one, and then we play in several other non-conference games. But yeah, I mean, our schedule it's tough to start, and that was planned for a reason, to get our guys ready for that tough conference play.
Okay, so talking about that non-conference and talking about that schedule, just to the players and possibly you, Coach, what is that team that's on your schedule that it might not just be a team or a player that you're looking forward to playing coming into this season?
Well, as far as conference, I'm looking forward to playing Heber Springs because that's kind of the team that wrecked our like season. We dropped the game to them, and that kind of just showed where we could go to conference or to the regional tournament. So I want to get paid back.
Just every team. Like just, get every team.
Okay.
I will say for me personally,
Yeah.
I attended CAC, graduated from CAC, had a lot of great memories from CAC. I played college basketball with Matt Hall at Harding, and so a ton of respect for him, for that school, all of that, but looking forward to going back to Mustang Mountain this year.
Right on. Okay. Well, do y'all have anything? Well, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you guys coming out, allowing us to interview you. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Good luck to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, up next we have Pulaski Academy girls basketball with head coach Becky Yarbrough. How you doing, Coach?
Doing well, thank you.
Coach, thank you all for coming. Give us a little insight on yourself and Let us know who all you brought with you today.
Okay, Becky Yarbrough, first year at Pulaski Academy. Very excited to be here. Today I brought with me senior Sophia Boyd. She's a forward for us. Madison Sanders, another senior. She's our point guard. And Randy Stewart, our sophomore forward guard. Greenlee Elmore wasn't able to make it today. She was supposed to be here with us. She's at the volleyball regionals. She's another sophomore.
So, Coach, just to kick everything off, give us some insight on your goals and expectations going into this season.
Well, I think our goals are pretty simple. These ladies got to the semifinals last year, and they're really wanting to win the state championship. And, since last spring, I was fortunate enough to get to PA in March and get to work with these ladies. And I'll have to say I'm very impressed with their work ethic. They bring the energy every single day. And it's been fun for me. They have been at the weight room in the mornings at 6:30 a.m., working really hard. I think that's going to pay off for us this year, the strength, what we've increased there, the aggressiveness. But they've worked hard all summer long and this fall, and I think it's going to be a great year, and I'm excited.
Coach, I've been knowing you for probably 25 plus years, and
Yeah.
I told you when I walked in, I'm used to seeing you in a different color blue right now. But,
Yeah, that royal blue.
Yeah, royal, exactly.
Yeah.
How's it been since you've taken over here so far?
I'm just going to tell you, it's been great. It's just a renewed sense of energy for me, and it's because of them, the whole team, these ladies and the rest of the team. It's just a new energy for me, something different. I've had some wonderful years at Star City in that royal blue, but I'm very excited with this navy blue and to be working with these girls. They have just made it so easy for me, the transition, because of the way their attitudes are wonderful, their work ethic is great, and they know what they want, and they're working to get it every single day.
I wanted to ask Madison and Sophia, as the seniors on the team, and coming in last year, Coach Treadway had talked about how there was going to be a lot of improvement. There was a young team from the year before. You guys lived up to that. So as now the senior leaders on the team, just kind of talk about the progression throughout the year.
Well, to start off, we've been in the gym a lot more, and like we said, we've been weightlifting and just scrimmaging each other. We've seen a difference, and so it's also kind of like a new mentality now, and so we are definitely going to see improvement strength-wise and just skill-wise overall.
To piggyback off of what Sophia said, strengthening is like one of our major goals that we have. We've gotten stronger since last year. We've seen it in our bodies and mindset and everything. And then as a senior, just trying to encourage everybody, owning up to that leadership role as a senior and as a point guard. I think I've done better this year than last year.
I also think that we've improved in just being stronger too. And our attitude as a team has changed. We're more serious about it. We're stronger, and we're just getting better.
So, Coach, to all the PA fans, the PA community, the PA alum, talk about your philosophy, your coaching style. Talk about that. Let them know what type of, what you're bringing to the table.
Well, I think most of them know. We played PA for a long time, a lot of years. Intensity, bringing intensity. I treat every day, every practice like it's for a championship game. And I just think that mentality prepares us. I'm excited about our schedule this year. The preseason tournament schedule is really tough, and I think that's really going to help us a lot. Playing a lot of good teams, it's going to let us see where we're at and what we need to get ready for as conference and postseason. So I'm anxious to get into that.
So that's a nice segue into what I was about to ask. Talk about that non-conference schedule. Talk about just how important it is for you to schedule a great non-conference schedule heading into your conference.
It's very important. I think you need to schedule the toughest non-conference schedule you possibly can. I think it just sets a mindset with the kids getting better and what they need to improve on instead of coasting through it and then all of a sudden realizing you're not where you need to be. We're in the Bologna tournament. We're in the Mount St. Mary's tournament. We're going to Manila for the Christmas tournament and also over at Lake Hamilton for our tournament. And all those tournaments have some very good teams in them. So we're going to be pushed, and that's going to be good for us. You're going to take a few losses, but those losses are going to help us get better down the road.
So with that being said, Sophia, I've noticed that over the summer you've been working really hard, staying in the gym. Talk about your leadership and just how your leadership would impact your team going forward.
I really took the leadership role this year as a senior. We have a lot of younger kids on our team that we've been that I've been playing with for a while and I've known for a while, and so it's kind of just nice to kind of guide them. And I do a lot of like behind the scenes. So this is what jersey we're wearing today. This is what time you need to be here. And so I think like just gaining their like trust and like friendship with the younger kids, it helps whenever you're trying to critique them.
Right.
As a senior and a point guard directing everybody, they basically feed off of my energy. So if my energy's low, their energy is low. If my energy's high, their energy is going to be high. If I'm playing hard, they'll play hard. So, yeah.
Yeah, and though I'm a sophomore, I try to be a leader too. I don't think, grade level has anything to do with leadership. But also I look up to the seniors too for leadership.
So, Coach, talk about your strengths and weaknesses. I'm curious. I know early in the season that some teams you gelling, you basically coming in new. And what are you seeing with your team right now that far as their strengths and weaknesses?
Strength-wise, we have some really, really good talent. I think we got some good playmakers that can obviously score, get to the rim, make good plays. I think we're going to have more depth this year. These girls have a good supporting cast, so more depth obviously is going to help us in games.
And Coach, you talked about your teams are going to play with intensity. That's what you've been known. One of the things
Yes.
you've been known for, and you're obviously very well respected across the state. So, as someone that's been at this for a while, what are some ways that you've had to adapt as a coach? Whether that is as far as being hard on kids or not being so hard, but also just the way that the game has changed.
Well, obviously, we know that, all coaches have had to adapt to the way we coach. But I still think you can get your point across and your coaching across. There just may be different ways to do it now. I know it's important to give the kids the confidence that they need. I think there's times when you need to get after them, but yet there's times when you need to come back, give them a high five and pat them on the back and tell them great job. And if you do that, then you're going to gain their respect. They're going to get better as a player. And, I think these kids understand that. When they're slacking a little bit, they know they're going to get it. But I'm also one that can come back and tell them, hey, you did a great job. Keep it up. So the motivation is there, certainly. And one thing I can say about this team that I'm coaching now, we have done some few things different, and getting up before daylight, going to the weight room and getting out on the field and working out with agilities, coming in on Sundays and doing extra work, staying after school later. Not one time have I heard any of these girls complain. And to me, that tells me so much about their character. And character can carry us a long ways. And I think they've got really good character, really good work ethic.
I heard Coach speaking highly of you all. So with that being said, from each one of you all, what is that one key thing that you think will help push you all to the next level?
I just think her coaching to begin with, like, it's so different than anything that I've had, and having a female coach has like been one of the greatest things ever. I've never had a female coach, and I think it's easier to connect with her. She's like our second mom away from home, and it's, I think, just the relationship that we built with her and how quickly we built that relationship is just going to help us, because if she gets on our butt, like, she's going to turn around and love us no matter what.
I think she sees all the potential in us and wants to get that out of us so we can show it on the court. And she pushes us as hard as we can so we could play to our best of our ability. And I think that's going to help us the best in this season.
I think she knows our strengths and our weaknesses, and she really pushes us hard on our weakness and does really good with our strengths too. And just leading us to where we need to be, I think she does really good with that. Just pushing us, not even just, I don't know, just pushing us to our limit.
Right. So I heard from the girls. Let's hear it from you, Coach. What is the key to this season, you think, to help push y'all to the next level?
Well, obviously improving throughout the season, you know, peaking at the right time, hopefully no injuries, if we can keep them all healthy. I do think we have good chemistry. This is a close group of girls, and they get along really well. They have a lot of fun together, and they do hold each other accountable, and when they do, they respond to that. And I really think they're going to get better and better as the season goes on.
Okay, I heard you say that non-conference schedule, and we all go about that conference schedule. So, girls, Coach, what's that one team or player that you might be looking forward to playing, or is there a team that slipped through your fingers last year and you done circled on your schedule this year? What's that team?
The game in the Hot Springs Convention Center.
I'd say Morrilton because they ended our season. We went to the Elite Eight, and we don't want them to beat us again because we let them slip through our fingers, like you said.
I also say Morrilton too, because that was a tough game, and I think we could beat them.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you all. That concludes our interview. Coach, thank you all for coming out.
Thank you for having us.
Opportunity. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, up next we got Central High School boys basketball with head coach Chevy Lewis. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having us.
Man, thank you all for coming out, Coach. First off, give us an intro of yourself and some of the players that you brought with you.
Absolutely. So I'm Coach Shelby Lewis. This is my it's my fourth year here at Central, but my first year as head coach. And to my left here, I've got Clay Blair. He was our sixth man last year. If you watched any games last year, you saw him make big shot after big shot. So we expect him to do a lot more of that this year. To my right, I've got Brandon Wright. and I've got Trey Aleem, and all three guys are returning players from last year's championship team. So I expect a lot out of these guys this year.
Coach, talk about that season last year. So I know your goals and expectations. It's championship again. So let's talk about some of the goals and expectations this year.
Sure. So, you know, the work doesn't change. The standard is the standard. You know, to quote the great Nick Saban, it takes what it takes. And so it doesn't matter who's in the front seat at Central. The standard is the standard, and that standard was set before I got here. And all we're going to do is continue that standard. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a secret that you know, we lost a lot of guys from last year's team, but we're still the defending state champions. And so, you know, our kids, our guys, they understand that. They understand what the standard is, and I'm still holding them to that standard.
Talking about the guys you lost last year, obviously Honor signed with Missouri, and plenty of others that had been longtime contributors. I see your guys have win anyway shirts on. Does that motto have pretty much everything to do with losing those guys, maybe some doubters?
Well, I would say it goes a little bit deeper than that. You know, my job as their coach is to eliminate any excuses for why we can't do certain things. And so that has just been a mantra every single day in practice. And, you know, as a coach, I try to manufacture adversity every single day. I try to stack the odds against our players every single day in practice because they don't need to be surprised when we walk into a hostile environment. And so I'm challenging them to win anyway, and that's just something that we've kind of developed over the summer, and it's something that it just kind of stuck, and that's what they do every day in practice is they try to win despite any odds that I might stack against them.
So this to the players, coming off a season, a championship season, talk about the camaraderie amongst you guys, and talk about the energy amongst you guys just to come back into this season, starting with you, Spray.
It's giving us nothing but motivation because we be hearing like all the things people saying about us, how we're not gonna be how it was last year. So in practice, we just competing every day and giving energy and trying to prove everybody wrong, and now we're gonna get back to the spot we was last year.
Going off of what Trey said, it's still the same expectations. Energy is still the same.
I think we should just rise to the same occasion every day. Consistency of what we did last year. It also a part of what you can do and what you're able to do. If we're able to just keep the same consistency, I think we can repeat it again.
Coach, you brought some of your leaders here today. What's some of those other players, some impact players on your team that you want to shout out or you want to bring up, you know, that you couldn't bring here today?
Absolutely. So, you know, we've got a lot of young guys that are talented. We got another guard who's a dual sport athlete, Ray Stewart, who will be joining us in a couple weeks. CJ King is another guy that I expect to be a major contributor to what we do this year. Joe Hewitt, Dalen Thomas, Gavin Holman. You know, we've got quite a few guys that Shamar Cheater. We've got quite a few guys that I think will make a big impact for our team this year.
You know, this is to the guys. You know, everybody knows. Honor was a senior last year, but you know there was also Daniel, and there was Chase and CJ, and if I'm leaving someone out, forgive me. But you guys were all contributors last year, but you weren't necessarily those senior leaders. What did you take from those guys, not just Honor, but the others, that you're now going to use this year to help guide the younger guys and, you know, continue to, as your coach says, win anyway and go back to where you were last year?
Just to play a role, like everybody had a role last year, and just to make extra plays, make the winning plays, and do things that can help the team win.
Really how they fought through adversity and how they all play as a team and never like split up, and like how they all stay together as a unit.
I would say to hold everybody accountable, no matter what them circumstances is.
Yeah, so Coach, talk about that non-conference schedule that you put together for your team. I know you're in the matchup showcase starting out. So talk about just how important that non-conference schedule is to prepare your team for that grueling success.
So in the last 5 seasons, in 4 out of the last 5 seasons, we've had the #1 strength of schedule in the state of Arkansas, according to Max Preps. And last year, we had the #1 strength of schedule in 43 states, including Arkansas. And so, we understand that our non-conference schedule is packed full of lessons that we need to learn. And what we're hoping is that those lessons, we can use those lessons to tweak some things as we go into conference. We learn a couple of more lessons during conference. And then what we're hoping is that we're playing our best basketball in March, and that's really what it's about. And so, like the old saying goes, if you want to be the best, you have to go out and beat the best. And so, we try to schedule the toughest teams really across the state and really across the nation. We try to go anywhere that anybody will allow us. If you think you're good, we try to get you on the schedule.
Coach, with your team being young, as of right now, how do you see your team chemistry is coming up so far?
Well, Clay mentioned this just a second ago. He talked about holding each other accountable. And, every great team that I've ever been a part of, it's been player-led. And I try to get out of the way as much as possible. And, what I tell them all the time is, my eligibility is up. I don't play basketball. I coach basketball, but I don't play basketball. And, there's going to be a game where it's going to be too loud, and they're not going to be able to hear me on the sideline. And so it's just going to be those 5 guys on the floor. And so what I try to do every single day is I try to challenge them to figure it out, because it's going to be them on the floor. I can't play. And my job in practice is to equip them with the tools that they need so that when they are in those situations and they can't hear my voice, they already know what they need to do. And so that's all they're doing right now. And they're doing a great job of that. And Clay is one of our captains, and he's done a great job of holding them accountable, as well as leading by example. So I'm excited about where we are as a team. And I think they all understand that, whatever we do this year, we're going to have to do it together.
Coach, how has that transition been coming from, being second, now you're the head guy? Talk about that transition. To be honest with you, I haven't really thought about it a whole lot, because I've been working every day, since Coach Ross resigned. I've just been working. And, I'm sure that'll be something that I think about in the off season, but not a whole lot's changed. I just had my head down and we've been working, and these guys have been working quite a bit. There's some, admin things that have been, that I have to do from time to time, and I've just been working. To the players, I follow you guys on social media, and each one of you guys, I've been watching your work over the summer, okay? I've been watching you working out, doing some things to get better. Talk about how your summer is going to translate coming into this season.
Just putting the work in and developing over the summer is translating and helping us get more acclimated to school ball, and helping us get active and ready to play our first game.
I feel like playing on one of the top circuits in the country helped me see the good players around the world and help me get prepared for school season.
I feel like playing upper division for school ball, for AAU, it gets me ready for a varsity season coming into 2024-2025 school season.
So, Coach, could you talk about that run last year and talk about the experience and how, that the pressures of being able to try to get back to that level. Is there any pressures?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, it's Central. So, yes, of course, there's pressure being here, but it's something that we invite. It's something that we thrive on. Our kids rise to the occasion. It doesn't matter the venue. It doesn't matter the event. Our kids just rise to the occasion. So, and again, that's what we develop in practice. We develop a tough outer shell to block out the noise, block out the distractions. Again, my job is to manufacture that in practice, and we do a pretty good job of that. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there is some pressure, but we don't feel that. We just go out and, again, our kids, we want to play together. We want to play hard. We want to play fast. And as long as we do those things, everything else will take care of itself. And I think these guys that I have on side of me, they understand that.
And to the players, my last question, what is that key thing that you all think will help prepare you all to the next level, even get you back to the finals?
Just coming out every game with camaraderie and playing together, and just doing what we got to do, being consistent.
Really, just our motto, like win anyways. Like we don't have no excuses, and like we get straight to it.
I would say consistency as well. Putting in work every day, the results will show during the game and during the season.
So with that being said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming out, giving us the opportunity to just get your mindset on the season. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Okay, up next we have Little Rock Central High School girls basketball with head coach Marlon Williams. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How you doing?
We're doing great. Thank you for coming out, allowing us to get a chance to get some insight on your program. Could you introduce yourself and also the ones you brought with you? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having us. My name is Marlon Williams, head girls coach at Little Rock Central. This is my 5th year at Little Rock Central. This is my 25th year coaching. Just glad to be here. Glad to be able to talk about our program. Who I brought with me, I brought Amelia Gaston, Taylor Day Davis, Kyle Wilson, and Kamaya Johnson, all which are seniors, all which have a lot of experience playing at a high level, and we're excited about them getting a chance to show their talents this year.
So, Coach, talk about your outlook and your goals for the season. I know you had that championship run last year. Talk about your goals and outlook this year.
Our goals are still the same. We want to get to the big game just like everybody else in the state. We've just been doing a good job of, these young ladies have been doing a great job of working hard in the off season and building their bodies, getting conditioned, skill development, and a host of our other players have been doing that as well. So goals are still the same.
Coach, you bring these 4 senior ladies who you relied on heavy last year, going to rely on even more this year. But you have an embarrassment of riches on your bench when you can bring somebody like Chloe Brown off the bench to play. So talk about not only these girls and the roles you're expecting from them, both on and off the court, but also some of the girls who aren't here.
Yes, sir. Obviously, these ladies are going to have an increased role this year. Last year, we lost 7 seniors, which are all playing college basketball, so we're excited about that. Also, we're excited about our seniors coming up. As you mentioned, we have seniors Chloe Brown, Alexis Montgomery, Alexis Bradford, and a host of others. We have some juniors that we're excited about. Alexis Montgomery is one of the juniors. Also, we have Gabby Sanders. We have Rosabella Onyango, who's a sophomore, who we are really excited about. And we have a few other kids that are ready to play. So it's been a good thing here at Central. We've been developing our players, and we're looking forward to this year.
Coach, the 6A conference is a grueling conference. Talk about just how your non-conference schedule is going to prepare you for another run. Talk about it.
Yes, our non-conference schedule is definitely packed with a lot of adversity with the challenging teams that we have on our schedule. We start off our schedule with 4 away games. So we just try to get ourselves prepared for what's to come throughout the season. Just playing in all the hostile environments that we have in our conference. Our conference is strong. Obviously, that's been obvious in the last couple of years. Those teams, our conference teams have been in the state semifinals the last 4 years. But 6A West is an awesome conference as well. They've been doing a great job. They got great players, great coaches, and we're looking forward to competing against them as well. So we're just trying to build and get ready for our season. Yes, sir.
So this is to the young ladies. You all coming off a championship run, right? The highest of the highs. How do you not get too low, or how do you stay humble? Coming off that championship run, starting here to the left.
Staying humble, I'll just say, just be mindful of what you say. Don't be too aggressive about it. Just think about what you have to say, and that will make you stay humble.
Can you ask the question one more time for me?
Yes. So I was saying, you're coming off a championship run, right? How do you stay humble and not get too high, but stay there to keep that same level of intensity?
Just continue doing what I'm doing as a player.
I'll just say we not satisfied yet, and we know we got a lot to prove, so we not done yet.
I'll say just stay humble and be consistent, and just play together as a team, and just play together.
Yeah. So, Coach, your team is one of the teams that's expected to do well. Talk about the pressures of getting there. Pretty much, everybody's looking for you all. They're going to get you all's best. You got a big target on your back. Talk about it.
We have pressure. We put pressure on ourselves because we have a high standard. I think Coach Lewis just mentioned it. We are Little Rock Central, and we expect a lot, especially when it comes to basketball. We're just trying to just keep working hard, and we're okay with the adversity. We're okay with some adverse situations. We probably one of the most relatable teams. I mean, we wasn't undefeated last year. We did have a number of losses, a number of close losses. We had some not so close losses. What matters is how you finish, and so we just keep that in mind. And so we are a relatable team. Most teams are like us, So we're gonna have adversity, and it's just how you get up from that adversity. So that's what we hang our hat on.
Yeah. So we saw like last year, you lost 2 to Conway, lost 2 to North Little Rock.
3. We lost 3 to North Little Rock. Yes, sir.
Just to turn right back around when the game matters.
Yes, sir.
You pulled it off. So talk about those wins right there at that moment. Talk about it.
Those wins are big for us. I mean, that's what we're talking about. That adversity. We pride ourselves on. We know it's not going to always look pretty. We're okay with that. We just want to, when it count, we just want to be able to answer the call when it count. And I think we displayed that, and hopefully that inspires not just only us, but other teams to be able to do that. I mean, that's what we're here for as coaches. We want to be able to teach our kids how to battle through adversity, and it's something special on the other side.
Right. So same thing to the ladies. So you all was in those games. You took 2 losses here, you took 3 losses there, and just to see those teams again. Talk about how important it was to get those wins, and where did it boost you all's confidence?
I'll say, I know we started off as a bad start, but it's actually how the way you finish. It's the way you improve from your mistakes. It's the way you finish and pass the finish line.
The way you finish.
It's okay. Yeah.
Can you ask me the question one time?
Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
I said like you all had 2 losses to Conway. You had 3 losses to North Little Rock, but you all turned it around when it really mattered, and you got the win. Talk about how that win boost your all confidence, going forward.
We're trying to work on being more consistent as a team, being more vocal and everything. That's it.
I feel like since we know we lost, we just had like we wanted that win bad. So those losses motivated us to when we played them that one last time to go out there and actually play hard and go and show everybody that we can beat those teams. So yeah.
Just as Kai said, it motivated us to get the win, and we wanted it, and so we came back and beat them to come out with a big outcome.
So, Coach, your team chemistry, right?
Sure.
How has that been so far? Considering they're coming off that championship run, how's the chemistry been so far?
Team chemistry has been great. There's a lot of shared experiences, a lot of shared big experiences for us, and we've embraced that. So the workouts have been a lot more intense, and we're just looking forward to to competing.
So I know you talk about that non-conference schedule and you talk about that conference. So is there a game that you specifically looking forward to getting back to? Maybe you have it circled yourself that you think it might be a point in the season that this is a game that we might need to pay attention to.
All our games are going to be challenging. Our non-conference is very challenging. Our conference, I guess you could circle that. All the teams in our conference are really, really well equipped, and so we're just looking forward to competing.
So, Coach, I would ask the young ladies, but I think this is a question more for you.
Sir.
How do you prepare your team coming back in this? You know, how do you prepare them? I mean, they're a championship team. Do you come in it the same way, or are you switching up some things?
We switch up a few things. I mean, we know we got a little bit different expectations, which we are embracing for sure. We earn the right to be, have some target or some type of respect. You can't go through what we went through last year and not be able to actually be ready to defend what happened. And so, like I said, we're built for that, and we're looking forward to that.
So, Eric? Okay, with that said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming out, giving us some insight.
Sir, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, up next we have Barton High School girls basketball with head coach Ryan Court. How you doing, Coach?
I'm great.
Hey, man, thank you all for coming out. Give us an insight on yourself and who all you brought with you.
This is
Jordan 11s on, okay?
This is my second year at Barton. We're honored to be here. Kevin Miller's from our neck of the woods, as y'all know, and one of the last conversations I had with Kevin was he told me how proud he was of building something in the Delta that everybody could be proud of. If he saw this today, the amount of talent I have up here, he'd probably be in tears. He'd be so excited. I've got 3 seniors and 1 junior. I got Quintavia Wilson, Zaria Smith, Jakira Jackson, and Demaya Wilson.
So, Coach, talk about some of your goals and expectations coming into this season, considering you have this bunch now.
Last year, we made the state tournament for the first time since 1982. I believe we ended up with 27, 28 wins. We were fortunate to play Mount Vernon in the state tournament, and I say that because I think they beat us by 100 or something, but our girls got to see what it takes, and it's a reference point for me every day. Our goals, I think, are pretty simple. We want to win our conference, I think, as you should every year, because that's what you kind of can control on a night-in, night-out basis. Get in that regional tournament, hopefully win that first game, and then try to make a run at state. We definitely have the talent to do all those things and repeat that and hopefully go even further.
Right. So, Coach, talk about your non-conference schedule and talk about just how important it is for your season.
We kind of try to beef it up and play a diversity of teams. Early on, we're going to go to the Lamar Classic that Coach Slitterman throws. We're playing Paris and Prairie Grove. We play Forest City in the non-conference, which is right up the road from us. We got Rivercrest, who I know these girls want to beat. They beat us last year, we just tried to really throw a bunch of diverse teams that maybe we won't see in our conference.
So you come out first in your conference last year. Talk about just how important it is to get back there and the mentality that you're putting on your team just to make it back there.
Yes, we've got a 9-team conference, so 16 of our games this season were already decided by the AAA. We're adding England, who's got, their history speaks for themselves. I believe they're back-to-back state champions 10 years or so ago. He's got a good coaching staff. They got a really good player in Jordan Blake. So that's kind of, a team that we're looking at that's going to be really good. But, our preparation is mostly about us. Things just getting ready, trying to get in shape, do things like that.
I'd like to hear from all 4 of the ladies up here. We can start down here. But what I'd really want to hear from you guys is now that Coach Corson is second year, he came there last year. You guys didn't really know what to expect. Some of y'all were up on this stage last year, didn't know what was going on. And then you guys do something that hasn't been done in 40 years. So going off that confidence, what's he done to get you guys to take that next step, which is the goal of a state championship? And you can just start down here.
Can you ask the last part again?
Yes. So what has Coach Court done with you guys over the past year since February and March so you guys can take that next step, which is winning a state championship?
I say he coaches hard, and he trying to get us into getting this dog mentality, as he call it. Yeah.
Well, with this being my first year with Coach Court, I say that he pushes us to do everything hard. He pushes us to do everything hard, and yeah.
You work on all our weaknesses.
As you can see in practice, one of our things is these girls they almost love each other too much, and they are a joy to be around, but sometimes I have to get them on the line, just say, hey, y'all got the giggles out of you. But when it's time to go and the lights are on, they hook up and go. I mean, it's just, the families that these kids come, I mean, they come from generations of athletes. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember, I know Eric does, but the Cartwright kid from Clarendon, just absolutely D1 kid. I coached against him when I was at White County. I mean, that's Jakira's cousin. I mean, so, you could just see, that's just who they are. Demai and Quintavia's dad was a legend in football and basketball. He played for Coach Poole, and I mean, these kids they just know how to play. They make me actually look like I know what I'm doing. So,
Coach, and really this would be any of the players as well. Considering what you did the first year, getting back to the state tournament with 4 decades and whatnot, expectations are going to be high. And trust me, next month I'm going to actually throw something out there for you guys as well when it comes to that, because you guys aren't really a secret right now. I mean, considering, what you have on the roster, how are these ladies and how are they managing the expectation that they're going to have labeled on them this year, and even really as the season goes on, to be honest with you?
Well, I tell them every day, it's not a secret. I hear from the guy from the Democrat Gazette, which now they can put a face with the name. I said, there's going to be stuff about y'all, about people that y'all don't even know exist. I think sometimes these kids think that the world stops and ends, or begins and ends in the Delta, and it doesn't. And I said, y'all will have a target on your back. But I think with us, these kids are pretty confident in their ability. We talk about every day more or less trying to be more the underdog, because, we went to the state tournament last year. Quintavia did something I've never seen before. Her anxiety was so bad. When her name was getting called as a starting lineup, she was literally coming behind the bench and went and shook Coach Carlton's hand from Mount Vernon. I didn't know she was going to come out. It was just like on Hoosiers when the kid was doing the prayer and he wouldn't come out of the locker room. You didn't even, I mean, it was just so much. But this year there's so much experience and wisdom that they had just coming to this event. It was just like, I'm going to do better this year. I'm going to, and Demaya was wanting to redeem herself, talking and things. So just getting them out there and managing those emotions and the anxiety and understanding, hey, I don't even know if they realize they got a target on their back. They're just hoopers, and that's a good thing, But managing it wise, it's just we're working hard every day. We're getting in the weight room. We're doing sled work. Jakira loves sleds, by the way, and I told her maybe she could jump a little bit higher. We're just going about our daily business every day. We're doing things like getting to practice on time. They got after school practice, they got to be on the line at 3:30, and they're doing those things, and they're holding each other accountable. And I hear them talking like, "Hurry up, get to practice." Last year, Quintavia would be my diva. She might not even, she walk in and be like, "I don't want to practice today." This year she hadn't done that. So those are the things that's really been positive for us.
Okay, I got to ask, and forgive me if I mispronounce the name. Is it Zaria? Zaria. When could you first touch the rim?
No, this is this one.
Oh,
this is
sorry.
Jakira.
Jakira, when could you first touch the rim? Because we've seen the videos. Those are kind of going viral, you jumping up and grabbing the rim with both hands. So I want to know, when could you first touch the rim?
It was my 10th grade year.
So let's talk about this. All right. So Coach has been talking about how you guys been working hard. So what's some of those things that you have been doing over the summer to get better? Starting here.
He asked it again.
So what have you been doing outside of practice, skill wise, to helping you get better?
Dribbling. I've been some dribbling skills, and I've been working on my shot also.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been working on my ball handling. I'll go running sometimes at the track just to keep myself in shape, and I work on my shooting form.
Okay.
I've been working on catching contact going over my left hand.
I've been working on getting in shape. That's about it.
So, Coach, you know, like Eric was saying, you have a big target on your back. So how do you manage that, you know, keeping, like you said they don't even know it, but when it comes that time, how do you plan on managing that?
We're just going to take it one game at a time. I mean, I think putting these kids, my job is just to put them in the best positions to win. And it's just like up here, you know, everybody in the States knows the scorer that Demaya is. I mean, she was all, you know, top 5 Democrat Gazette sophomore team, almost, averaged almost a triple-double. Everybody knows who she is. I mean, there's nobody happier in this room that Jakira showed up than Demaya, because now Demaya gets to go play the 2 guard, and Jakira is going to be our point guard. And, I mean, Jakira is dynamic, super-duper athletic. Both of those kids are D1 players, you know. Zaria coming in late in the summer, she didn't get to play summer with us. She's kind of the X factor of it all because she's an inside-outside player. She's pretty steady either way, and she makes us really, really versatile. And just like Quintavia said, she's got a good shot. You know, just letting her have confidence in that shot. But she knows when the lights come on and the game's going, her job is to rebound, play defense, and be that ball hawk, and she loves that, you know. But, you know, for us, managing the expectations, I mean, you know, these 3 played together at Marvel. I don't know if they ever lost a game, you know. And Zaria and Jakira's played together the last 2 years. And, you know, Demaya, one of her best attributes is her passing. She's a very unselfish player, and she's a very tough player. You know, I see Dumas over here. We played them in team camp, and Demaya broke her pinky like the second play of the game, and it was pointing at her face. And we only had 6 kids there. I said, I'll put this other kid. No, she taped it up and went out there and played. You know, and so these kids, they're just ball players. I can't stress that enough. You know, they really, really enjoy each other. And I think when it comes down to it, I have full confidence that they'll step up when the moment's big. I mean, we got a lot of talent, and we're excited, as you can tell.
Oh, yeah. So with that being said, I know you have a big target on your back. So which team are you all circling on the schedule that you can't wait to play this summer? I mean, this season.
Ford City, England.
In England, yeah.
We need to play Earl, though, because I heard he said he got the best 2 guards. We the best boys.
So, yeah, keep it in perspective. And those 2 girls from England are great. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Last year we played them, and Coach Jefferson, he put his best 2 on her. She had 31, and his 2 had 19 and 18. The second half, he goes to a 3-2 after the game, and I shook his hand. I said, "You sorry, devil." I knew when you went to that zone because Demaya, from a scoring perspective, didn't have much help. She would shoot it, and the other 4 would go rebound and, you know, basically shoot till they put it in. That's not the case anymore. I mean, there's no keying in on her. And like I said, she may get 30, 40 on, you know, 15 shots as opposed to 25 or 30 shots, you know. So her efficiency is going to go way up, as it should if you play with better players. So.
Well, with that said, that concludes the interview. We appreciate you all for coming out, giving us the opportunity. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, up next we have Barton High School boys basketball. How you doing, Head Coach Greg Poole? How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having us.
Coach, if you can, introduce yourself and your players from left to right, please.
Okay, again, I'm Coach Greg Poole, head boys basketball coach at Barton. To my right, I have junior Anderson Smith. I have senior Darrell Daniels. I have a junior Jordan Humphrey. And on the end, we have junior Quaylen Green.
Coach, you finished second in the conference. Talk about your run in the conference and talk about just how it's important to get back and even exceed last year.
Yeah, we finished second to Mariana in the conference. Again, the goal is to win the conference. That's what we strive for, to win the conference. That's what we work hard for during the off season, doing the team camps, in the weight room, all that good stuff. We're trying to, win that conference and make a run for regionals, win a game in regionals, and, take it from there, get into state. So that's what we're trying to do.
So I was going to ask you about your goals and expectations. It seemed that's your goals. So what are your expectations?
Well, our expectation is basically to gel a lot more as a team, get well connected. We know what we need to do. We've been together for a few years with these guys. They've been with me since junior high. We know what our expectation is. Also, we have a couple guys there in football, and as a coach, I pray that they come out of football healthy so we can make this run and reach those expectations that we're trying to reach. So, yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
What would you say this team's biggest strength is, and what are some of the weaknesses, and how do you plan on attacking that?
Okay, so, yes, our strength is, again, these guys have been together for a long time. They know how each other play. They know how I coach. Which is a big strength, just the gelness that we do and the things that we do, how comfortable they are with each other. And I would say a weakness is that, just getting them out of football. I have nothing against football. I love that they play football, but that is a weakness when, I have to wait on a lot of guys to come out of that before we can put our stuff together and go to work, yeah.
Right. So this is to the players. You guys finished second in the conference. Talk about how important it is for you all to not only take last year's success, but build on it.
You gonna start with you, Anderson?
Yeah, I go first.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
I say, we lost a lot of guys, so a lot of us gonna have to step up.
What he said, we lost a lot of players.
Well, just to piggyback on that, basically what they're saying is we lost a lot of seniors from last year, and they're knowing that they got big feet to fill, so that's basically where we're going with that. Go ahead, Darrell, finish up.
Yeah, we lost a lot of guys, so that means we got to step up. We ain't gonna get a lot of time out. We gotta stay in like all 4 quarters, just play out throughout all the game.
So, Coach, talk about your non-conference schedule and just how important it is for your non-conference schedule to be competitive, to prepare you for your conference.
The non-conference schedule had Central on there. We in a couple of Christmas, Thanksgiving tournaments trying to get prepared. Again, it always predicts with what football does. A lot of times when we come out of football, we might have a week to prepare before we have that first game. So we try to get teams that's going to really get us ready for conference season, and trying to get as many hard, difficult teams that we could play that's going to get us up to point to where we need to be. Yes.
Coach, describe your coaching philosophy and your strategy, your style. Describe that.
My coaching philosophy is basically, again, it's the classroom first. I always tell my guys that it starts in the classroom. If I tell them all the time, I call the classroom the hill. If we're up on the hill and we're playing around and we try to bring it to the floor, nothing's going to pretty much be where it's supposed to be. So I always preach classroom. We talk about punctuality, being on time for practice. They know it's no cell phones, none of that stuff in practice. Just try to get their mind ready for those 2 hours that we are trying to prepare for what we're trying to do. Film watching, things like that. Just trying to, my philosophy is basically just preparing them the best I can to get them ready for what they need to do.
Coach, what's the key to a successful season for you?
Basically, it's making it fun for these guys. When I know it's fun for them, then I know we're going to have some good positive aspects on what we're trying to do. Again, our goal is to finish first in the conference, trying to get to regionals and from their state, and we can just predict whatever's going on after that. Yeah, just trying to get to state.
So you finished second in your conference. So what's the biggest challenge, coming into this season for your team?
The biggest challenge is, again, we came up short making state. I think that challenge right now is for them. I want them to feel what that feels like to get to state. And I think once they get that feeling, especially with my senior point guard right here, Darrell, I really want him to feel that. He's a big leader of what's going on with this team. One of our major defenders. He get out there, he holds the other team's best guard, but really want him to get a feel. I know he's going to lead this team along with Quaylen Green over here. The target is pretty much on his back. Teams look at him, and that's who they try to attack. But I think these two guys, I mentioned football, they're on the field right now, hoping they come out healthy. And I think that's what it is right now. I think once we do that, I think the season will be positive for us.
Coach, expound on that a little more. You lost some production from last year, but you got some really good guys coming back. But talk to us about not only these 4 guys individually and what you're expecting from them this year, not just on the court production-wise, but off the court leadership-wise, and then talk about a few guys that aren't here and what you're expecting from them.
Okay, yes. I start with a couple guys that are not here today. We have Chase Harden. We have Sean Livingston, and I have a couple, Xavier Franklin, Cameron Henry, guys that are not here that is going to really have to step up and play for us this year behind these guys here. But off the court with these guys, it's just their leadership. They know in classrooms, sit at the front of the class, just because I tell them all the time, people are looking at you, the younger guys on the junior high. That's how we build our program, by these older guys setting examples for the younger guys that are coming up.
Okay, Coach, so, I always want to ask this. Is there a team that you're looking forward to? Is there a game on the calendar that you circle that you really want to, that's motivate you to get back to?
Well, I'm that type of coach. I want to win all the games. It's not a particular game. I just know we want to win our division. We want to not be packing this stuff up early. So it's not a particular team. When I look at the schedule, it's every team that I see on the schedule. Okay.
And to the players, the same question.
Mariana, England.
England.
Yeah, England.
Mariana.
Same thing, okay. So, is there some players outside the ones you brought today that So is it some more players that you feel that once these guys leave will be the ones to run the ship?
Most definitely. Again, I make these guys make the younger guys better, because I tell them all the time, hey, it's going to continue to move. It's going to be people coming up next, next man up. You never know what'll happen. I pray to God no injuries happen or anything, but you got to always have somebody, a plan B that is, ready to go. So yes, it's several guys that's going to have to really step up. We have some junior high guys that may be moving up towards the end of the junior high year that will probably step up and play in some important roles.
Okay, if it was one thing, one word you to hang your hat on for this team for the season, what would that word be?
Just toughness. Toughness, yes.
Well, okay, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you guys coming in, giving us an opportunity to get some insight on your program. Thank you.
Hey, well, thank you for having us.
All right, up next we have Dumas High School boys basketball with head coach Larry Harris. How you doing, Coach?
Doing pretty good.
Coach, introduce yourself and introduce the guys that you brought with you.
As you said, my name is Larry Harris, and first and foremost, we'd like to just thank you guys for inviting us to this wonderful event. I think it's wonderful for the state. I think it's wonderful for the kids, the players to be invited down, Dumas community. I also think it's just wonderful for our program just to be getting this exposure. I also want to thank our superintendent, Dr. Steard, and Dumas administration for inviting us down, letting us get out of school and come on this trip. Now, the guys I brought with me, starting on the left, I brought senior Billy Reddick, who's a 3-year starter, averaged about 11 some points a game, all conference. Man, he's like a coach on the floor. Whenever he's out there as a coach, he's a very high IQ guy. Quick little story, real quick. Yesterday in practice, I was talking to the maintenance man trying to get some stuff done, and we always post our practice plan. And so I was about 20, 25 minutes trying to get some things done. He took over practice, and he led them in the whole 20, 25 minutes and got things done. And my maintenance man was like, wow. I was like, yeah, those guys are very, very engaged. Second guy I got right here with me, these next 3 are football guys. Raylan Spratt, all conference, all state, averaged 19 points a game. Man, he's probably one of the best two-way players I've ever coached. He's kind of solid, in personality, but, when he gets around his friends. Dude is tenacious. He's a great defender, had like 10 steals in one game earlier this year. He was electric in the state tournament for us against Elkins. He had 35 in the quarters, had 24 in the semis against CAC, who beat us by 2. He's also a football player, plays receiver. He's all-state in basketball, football, has a Division I offer to UAPB to play football. Over here, I have Timothy Martin, who's also a senior, be like a 2-year starter. He's kind of raw for us, but he's the rim protector. He alters shots. He does the dirty work. He gets the rebounds. Man, he's a football player, plays DN. They played him tomorrow. Man, he's tenacious. He stays in the backfield, so, he's tough on that end. And my last guy over here is Marcus Kilgore. He's a junior. He'll be a 1-year starter. Really, really, really explosive, athletic athlete. Could dunk 3 to 4 times in a game. Plays a little quarterback and receiver on the football field. So I just be honest, man, I'm just thankful to have these guys.
Right on. So with that said, Coach, what's your goals and expectations for this season?
Goals and expectations. With anything that we do, we know the ultimate goal is to get to High Springs, but I would just say first and foremost, we try to win all home games. My guys know that. If you win, you got home court advantage, you should win. I remember a couple years ago, we may have won like 3 years in a row without losing at Dumas. It's kind of hard to beat us there, but can't remember the last time we lost. I think we may have lost to Watson Chapel. Shout out to Javon Barnes, who does a great job at Chapel. They beat us. So win all home games. Then other than the bigger classifications, you have to win like top 4. We have to go through regionals, district, state. So our next goal would be short-term, long-term would be win conference. We won it 5 years in a row, so we're shooting for 6. Then after that, the next thing is district. You want to win district. We won 2 straight, so we're shooting for 3 straight. Then the next stepping stone would be regionals. That's how you get your seeding in state. We won 3 straight, so we're shooting for 4 straight. And then the last thing will be, I guess, you get to the state tournament, in which these guys have been blessed, been to 4 semifinals in the last 5 years, lost in the state championship to Osceola a couple years ago. Shout out Vernon Wilson, awesome coach. You'll have him later. Then we also lost to Manila a couple years ago, and Manila Lee Wimley does a good job, but, we've been unfortunate over the years, would have liked to compete it, didn't have this guy. He broke a foot in the regional, so it would have been good to have him. And then we lost to CAC also this past year. And like I said, injuries have plagued us a little bit, because even in CAC, I had Tommy Reddick, who was on a tear, scoring 39 in the regionals and everything. And then a lot of people don't know, at the beginning of last year, Tommy, he missed the first 9 games with a torn meniscus. Man, he tore the same meniscus first half against CAC and didn't tell me. And he played the rest of the way, and then I found out after the game he had surgery. So I knew it was a little bit why he was off. But nothing against CAC. Coach Hall does a wonderful job. Hey, man, and they just outdoed us that night.
Yeah. So speaking about that success you had over the years, and you finished 2nd last year in the conference?
No, we won. In the conference, you saying? Yeah, we won the conference the last 5 years.
My bad. with the success you had over the years, how do you, replicate that year after year with your team?
Man, I think it just starts with culture, man. You just have to set a standard. Culture, these guys know me. We joke, have great fun, but they know when we get between the lines. These guys know that, I always do a hashtag the Dumas way. Standards, high tradition. All the great coaches come before me. Ira Green, Van Hope, Patterson, Hendricks, Rogers, Coach Thurman. We just have a standard at Dumas with our culture, and these guys know what's expected of us every year, man. Hey, we win, but we want to win the big one, and it's been slipping away from us, that elusive one. So hopefully these guys, we can get it together this year and try to get over that hump.
You answered my question. I was going to ask you about the Dumas way a little bit, but you already talked about that. But I did have one for Billy. You've played with your brothers, Mike and Tommy, and what's really impressive, you guys all have great GPAs. You obviously do your thing on the court. You had a chance to play as a ninth grader on that state runner-up team. So just talk about, of course, you can mention your teammates as well, but just growing up with those two and the competitiveness that y'all had amongst each other, how that made you better both on and off the court.
I mean, everything was competitive, like from the grades in the classroom to being on the court. But having them two as my older brothers helped me be the person I am today. They led me to do what was right, pushed me. Even when I didn't want to do it, they was pushing me. So I appreciate them and everything they did for me because they made me the best player that I could be today.
And this is directed for all four of the players. Billy, we can start right here with you. We got some, Coach, you got some high production coming back here, and then you're going to rely on these two, I think, probably a lot more than you did last year. But talk to us about your roles going from last year to now, not just production-wise, but also leadership-wise. And then, what all is Coach relying on you two guys more this year than when he relied on you last year?
Coming back, I've always been that leader, but I want to be more vocal to my teammates, encouraging them, keeping their head up during the games. And on the court-wise, I say scoring, and I've always been the player, when Coach need me to guard the best player on the team, put him in the box and one, I'm there. So I just want to, come back and be able to do that for him.
Well, like Billy said, last year we lost two important key pieces, Tommy Reddick and Joseph Jones. So now my coach expects me to score more, play defense, get more steals, be a floor general, make sure everybody know they're supposed to be, pick my teammates up.
Coming back, I feel as if I should be more of a defensive anchor, be there on the field, be there on the court, get rebounds, block shots, and be there for my teammates defensively.
I would say the same. Like, my job and his would be similar, being that we're both ranking players. We have to be big down there in the post, especially offensively and defensively. We stress out and cause havoc in the defense.
I mean, Coach, you got to be excited about what all four said just then. Just talk a little about, what those guys said and what you're putting on them more than what you did last year.
Well, it's obvious these guys, man. The one thing about Dumas is being at Dumas, and I talked to Coach Van Holt a lot, who's a great mentor, who won all those state championships in Dumas. The one thing about Dumas is kids know who can play and who can play. Who the ones can play. They know who it is. So everybody pretty much knows their roles, but if you don't know your role, Coach always meets with everybody 5 minutes before, and we like to sit down and we like to discuss your role so you know what's expected of you. It's no secret. This guy averaged 19 points a game, all state, all conference. This guy averaged 11 or 12. I remember when Tommy Reddick was out, the first 9 games of the season, there's one game they had 27 apiece. So in that stretch, he averaged 25 spread, and Billy averaged 18. So I know what they're capable of. They're going to be asked to score a lot, be leaders. It's going to be a lot asked of them. They're going to face some crazy defenses, probably some boxing ones, some triangling twos, crazy defense. Now these guys, they know that, and it's just like with a coach. You're only as great as your assistant coaches. Coach K used to say, but I hate Duke. I'm a North Carolina fan, but we can't do it unless these guys come through. It takes all of us. And like I said, anybody, just like Gino always says, man, it's just no saying that you're just a great coach or this and that. Man, it starts with the kids, the student athletes. And, I'm just along for the ride. I have some great student athletes. Dumas has been successful over the years, but, man, it's because of the kids. We have some great kids. You take them away, then I got to find a way. I'm along for the ride. I love them. I enjoy them. I'm going to miss them. But these guys right here are going to have to take on more of a scoring role. I'm really getting on them. I need double-double Double from both guys. I'm asking every night. Tenacity, intensity. I mean, this guy here is a man. I'm telling you, if you ever watch Dumas play, he's a force at the end, getting in the backfield. And that guy there is an electric athlete. So I want them to take what Coach Lovelady is teaching them in football and bring that over to the forefront in basketball. And if we can put it all together in a culmination, maybe we have a chance to be in Hot Springs later this year.
Yeah. So that's a segue right into the question I was about to ask.
Mhm.
I was going to ask, preferably the football guys, how do you manage, football and basketball? How do you translate the both? Translate the two.
I'd say it's pretty easy because everything has its own seasons, but towards the end of football season, you have to start having football and basketball practices. So, and within the same day, so it's all right. It just kind of beat up on you a little bit. You be a little sore, cramps, but otherwise, it's all right.
Yeah, it just we got both seasons, so it's really back and forth. It's all about getting in shape, getting on the court, and then just going on the field and playing ball.
Like what they said, football brings the toughness out of you, and all the conditioning we do, it prepares us for basketball with all the up and down running we do, and it just makes us the people who we are.
Let me say this, just to piggyback, so no football coaches or basketball get it misunderstood. These guys don't play basketball during football season. But what they was trying to tell you is when basketball season ends in March, we're blessed with me and Coach Lovelady. We share a system, we share athletes. So what they're saying is when off season hits in March until probably August, maybe on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, these guys may come to basketball. On Tuesday and Thursday, they'll go to football. And then the next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, they may go to football. Tuesday and Thursday to basketball. So it flip-flops. So that's how they manage being, from both. I think they misunderstood the question, like, how do they get ready to come straight to me?
Yeah. So, but let's talk about your schedule. Which team on your schedule or which moment are you looking forward to? Which team you're looking forward to playing, a player that you're looking forward to playing?
We prepare for everybody the same. Like, every game to us is just as important as the next one. There's nobody that we can circle because everybody can come out and have a good game at any night.
You want them all to continue?
Well, no, I was just trying to spit. Did all of them share the same values? Okay.
Most definitely, unison. Most definitely.
That's all right. Well, Coach, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming out, giving us an opportunity, to pick your brains, get an inside look. Thank you.
Again, thank you guys for having us. Wonderful event you putting on.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Good job.
We've had
You ready? Okay, up next we have Dumas High School girls basketball with head coach Karen Broughton. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great, thank you.
Thank you all for coming. First off, introduce yourself and who all you brought with you today.
Okay. First, we would like to take a minute just to thank everybody who has put this on. We thank you because you're not only giving exposure to the girls' basketball, but to just basketball all over the state. So we want to thank you. We want to thank our administration for allowing us to be here. Like you said, my name is Coach Karen Broughton. This is my 16th year, third year at Dumas, first year as head coach. To my right, I have Stefana Steen, who's a senior all-conference, Elena Round, senior all-conference, Sion McKenzie, senior all-conference, and Kendry Broughton, junior all-conference all-state.
Okay. Heck of a lineup. So, Coach, just to start off, you finished first in your conference last year. Let's talk about the goals and expectations coming into this season, considering your previous success.
They're pretty simple. We want to be sure that, first of all, we're playing good defense. Elite defense is what we say, and that we work hard every single day. But the long-term goals, we want to win conference back-to-back, district back-to-back, and regionals. We were a little short last year, so we want to win regionals. And, of course, we want to be in that last game in Hot Springs and win that state championship.
So let's talk about the regionals and that game right there. Give us an insight on that game and just how you plan on taking that game and building on it to make sure your team is prepared.
Yes, we played Falk, which is a very well-coached team. They were 5 in, 5 out. They wore us down. What we did, though, I was blessed to have them in the off-season, summer, and preseason, and we've continued to get in way better shape than we were last year. These two on my left, they have worked so hard on their physiques and just getting in better shape so that we can keep them in their longer minutes. But I think one of our strengths, though, is that we have depth. We have probably about any given 9, 12 girls that can come in and play. We have a senior class of 5, a junior class of 8 girls, and then my sophomores, some of them will give us some big minutes also.
Yeah, so we see the leaders that you brought here today. Is there someone or a few players that you want to talk about or put on notice that we don't see here today?
Yes, just a couple. Kira Jones, she is the girl that we go to when we need a box and one or a defender to lock somebody up. She's a junior. We weren't able to bring everybody, of course. Kenya Johnson, who transferred back from Star City, she's about a 5'9", 5'10" guard who's strong and can finish at the rim left-handed and can shoot the outside shot as well. And then we have sophomore Kamaya Mosby, who's coming back from an MCL, ACL tear, and she's, to me, way better than she was before that. So just excited about that.
Right on. So this is to the young lady. So, Coach just said you all had a heck of a season, finished first in your conference in that regional game. Talk about how that regional game has inspired you all to come back even stronger, even better. Start here.
After the regional games, has really just helped us realize that we have to get better in certain areas. So taking on that game, we just don't want to feel the same feeling we felt that night. So it just pushes us to do better in practice and just work harder every single day.
I would say just work harder. That's about it.
The regional games let us know that we need to get in better shape. Also work on our outside shots. We are required to shoot around 1,000 shots a week now, just because of it.
Well, I feel like it gave us motivation to keep going and keep pushing and don't give up.
So talk about that team chemistry, considering that you all took that loss, you're building on it. Talk about the team chemistry right now. Where is that?
The team chemistry has really gotten better over the upcoming season, and we we're just blessed to just have an amazing coach that keeps us together and have our bond just tight. And with us having the same mindset, it really helps with our chemistry, knowing that you have to choose your heart every single day, whether you get in better shape or you struggle getting down the court, whether you lift weights more or you get out muscles. So it's just basically just choosing your heart. And with us having that kind of mentality, we all just are connected and we just have just a special bond.
Our team chemistry, I think, is great. You know, we trust each other on and off the court and just push each other to become better.
Just piggybacking off of that, I believe their team chemistry is really good. These girls will come to me and say, "Hey, Coach, can we come to your house and carve pumpkins?" Sure. Can we come and watch the WNBA championship? Sure. Wow. You know, so they love to spend time with each other outside of just practice. And we actually upgraded their locker room and put in some new stuff in there, so they love hanging out just together and watching movies or whatever it may be in there. Go ahead.
And honestly, picking back on last year, I feel like this year we're more of a family than just girls playing basketball together. So it's great.
So, Coach, you know, going into this season, what is your team identity? What would you say your team identity would be coming into this season?
I think we're going to be tough defenders. We're going to create chaos for the team that we're playing. So I think defense is going to be our identity this year.
So we know you got a lot coming back, right? What would you say your strengths are, and what would your weaknesses be, and how do you plan on attacking those weaknesses?
I believe our strengths are team chemistry, one of them. Our defense is another one. And weakness, I wouldn't call them weakness because I believe we had meetings, I think, at the beginning of the year or at off season, and we talked about those weaknesses and how we could get those better. So over the course of the time, we have made those weaknesses into strengths. So I would say communication on the court. They're kind of quiet. But I've challenged them to be more of leaders and more communicators on the court, especially because these are my leaders, these are my seniors. So I've challenged them to be more vocal in practice, and so that's become a strength now for us. And also, just our defense. Our defense has become a strength because we've been working on it.
Speaking of defense, a lot of teams kind of hang their hat on defense. What's that one thing that you will hang your hat on this season to kind of help prepare you to the next level?
Defense.
Defense.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about your non-conference schedule. Give us a little insight on it.
We've prepared a pretty challenging non-conference schedule. We're going to Bergman and playing the defending champs, Bergman, probably mid-November, the 21st, against 22nd. And then we're also going to Mount Home, where we'll see Mount Home, North Little Rock, Cabot. So we're putting ourselves out there to see, we want to see where we're at before we begin conference and regionals. And then we're going to be playing Morrilton in the Monticello Classic that they're having.
So this is to the girls. I heard Coach talk about that non-conference schedule. Just where are you all's mind frame right now heading into that non-conference schedule? What are you looking forward to the most?
The thing I'm looking forward to going into this non-conference is just growing and seeing where we're in need to grow. So it's just really going to help us just see where we're at and just going to build us into a better team.
I'm excited about the non-conference schedule. It's going to be challenging, hard, and just prepare us for the upcoming season.
Right. So is there a specific game or team that you're looking forward to getting back to? You know, considering some teams slipped through your fingers last year, a certain game, what is it?
Honestly, we don't have any team just circled. I feel like every game is important, and we're going to prepare for everybody's personnel on the team. So we're just taking it game by game, because on any given day, anyone can win. So we're just preparing.
So you finished first in the conference, right? So you have a pretty big target on your back. How do you handle that pressure of being the one that everybody's coming for? How do you handle that?
One of our quotes that we've had for a practice was, "It's not pressure if you're prepared." So we just prepare each and every single day for the upcoming season, and then when it's time to play, we're going to prepare specifically for each game and their personnel. So I feel like they shouldn't feel pressure if we're prepared, and I'm going to do the best that I can to have them prepared.
What's one of your biggest challenges that's coming up?
As in a team, or?
Well, yeah, far as with your team that you see so far.
I think right now our biggest challenging is still just getting them to be vocal, and especially on the defensive end. So I think that that's going to be our biggest challenge. But I believe that these young ladies are going to get it together and know that that's a very important part of our defense.
Okay, well, with that said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming out, giving us an opportunity to get an inside look at Dumas girls basketball. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, we're back. Up next, we have Mills High School girls basketball with head coach Joe Gregory. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How about yourself? Thank you for having me.
Hey, doing amazing, Coach. First off, give an introduction of yourself and who all you brought with you. Get that mic up, son.
All right. I'm Coach Joe Gregory. This is my 4th year at Mills University Studies High School. I brought 4 players with me today. I have to my right Mackenzie King, Geneva Gregory. Both of these are returning players from last year. And I have 2 new players to the team this year, Jada Crawford on the far end and Denia Barton right here to my left.
So, Coach, just right off the bat, Coach, you had an amazing season. Talk about your goals and expectations coming into this season.
Goals and expectations.
Yeah.
Excellence is the standard. That's not only on the basketball court, but in the classroom. Our goal is to win a conference championship and also a state championship. I love my city, Little Rock. However, I want to be more than just the best team in Little Rock. I'm trying to be the best team in the state. So,
Coach, it's no breaking news here that it wasn't just a few years ago before you got there that Mills literally didn't win a game the entire season.
Correct.
And now you've built up some great expectations. I mean, your name gets tossed around for state tournament and state championship. But how are you keeping these girls grounded when they're obviously hearing the talk around town as well? And then on top of that, talk about taking that into, a new conference. We had a little conference realignment. You guys are in a different spot. So talk about that a little bit as well.
well, the whole situation with this new team and everything, like you said, we didn't win a game my very first year, and that was very tough, 0-25. However, moving forward, we have players that have come over, and we are really, really working hard, working out every day to get better. I tell my team all the time, anything worth having does not come easy. So we have to continuously put in that work, put in the grind every single day to get better. The conference schedule really we were playing in a conference, I think we were in the 4A8, which was like, our closest home game was like away game was like 45 minutes away. The farthest was like close to 3 hours. Now we're in the 4A South. I think our farthest game is Fountain Lake, I believe. I think that's about 45 minutes. It's definitely a lot better. I would have still loved to compete in the 4A8 with my new team. However, 4A South, we here, we ready.
So, Coach, we're talking about that non-conference schedule. Could you give us a little insight on just how it correlates to you being ready for that conference schedule?
Right. Our non-conference schedule, I wanted to set that up and have that extremely difficult. I tried my best to really put all of the best teams. I tried my best to schedule all of the best teams I possibly could, whether you're 6A, 5A, 4A. And I wanted to be extra competitive because as soon as our conference season starts, if we start off playing very, very good competition, as soon as our conference season comes around, we'll be ready. Also, with regionals after the conference season and hopefully on to the state, we'll really be battle tested and ready to play and compete for a championship.
Coach, I had the opportunity to step in on one of your practices, and I noticed that you are very detailed when it comes to getting your team prepared. Talk about just where that preparation comes from.
Well, the thing is, I can't assume that everybody knows everything, so I'll stop every minute just to make sure they actually know exactly what they're doing. Because if I allow something to keep going and it's not right, then that's gonna translate to the game. Everything we do on the floor is gonna translate to the game. So that's why I try to stop, give those little nuggets of detail so they don't make that mistake over and over again. And that's gonna help them. Just the small things, especially the talking aspect. Talking is major. If you're a quiet team, you're a losing team. So that's why I try to keep the intensity high and make sure all of the players are talking at all times.
So, just to piggyback off that, this is for the players. Your practices. Coach is very detailed. Coach is very, he critique you guys on everything to make sure you're doing it right. Just how has that helped you all, take that and translate it to the game?
I think that's helped us a lot because if he just lets us slide, we're doing the mistakes and not talking, not moving, then we're not going to do it in the game and we're not going to win.
I would also say, Coach, he very when he critiques us, it's not really just it's like he makes sure that when he tell us what's going wrong, what we doing right. He also reward us and tell us the things that we need to do. This is basically a very intense practice. I would say practice would be a game, how we would play in a game. Yeah.
I agree with them. I feel like it helps us a lot with the talking and the communicating and the moving. It just helps us and it's bettering us for when our first game happens.
I would say that it helps us because he makes sure that we are practicing very game-like because he believes that how we practice is how we play.
Yeah.
So we always have to have the high intensity and just practice with, I wouldn't say practice with, practice with purpose.
So you all had an amazing season last year, right? So talk about how you all building on that amongst each other. What's the conversations been like amongst you all, beside coach, to help you all, to keep you motivated to get to the next level?
I would say that now, since this is my first year playing with Coach, so I would just say the amount of talent that we have on the team now, it's like we all have different personalities, different skill sets. So bringing that all to the team now is just a whole lot of just excellence. You just have so many people that can do so many things. You can throw them out there on the floor, pull them out, put them everywhere. It's just a whole lot of players that just know the game of basketball and can play the game of basketball the speed is supposed to be playing.
In practices, I think what helps us is our coach. He tells us whether the girl is better than you, she's not as good as you. You treat her like an opponent, so don't take it easy on nobody just because of what position they play, how tall they are. It doesn't matter. So I feel like that helps us and it makes each other better.
What helps us in practice, I'd say he likes to bring up Nashville, our last game. And he really just motivates us. If we mess up, he'll just bring it up and we'll just get our energy up higher. We'll compete better every time we hear Nashville. So I feel like Nashville has been a good motivation this year.
What motivates me is that he has this saying that iron sharpens iron. So just making sure that we're pushing each other and we're not taking it easy on each other and always, pushing each other to be better and playing games like this. It helps us in practice. We have a lot of talent this year. We have so many new players and we all can do different things and contribute to the team.
Okay, Geneva, I'm asking the question that Kyle Sutherland has asked most coaches' kids. Tell us about that balance between basketball work and then home life with Dad there.
It's definitely a struggle. Anything that happens at practice, if I make mistakes, I come home in the car ride, I hear it the whole time. It's never a break from basketball and hearing about it. But it definitely makes our bond stronger because we can talk a lot. We can go home, talk about basketball, at school, talk about basketball, and it's a great experience.
I'm working on that, by the way. But
not really.
Coach, I'm going to go back to what Chris was talking about a minute ago. You talked about the schedule and being a little closer and that kind of stuff. So I want to start there. That as far as our crews go at Natural State Sports, we're super happy about that. They were 1,400 round trip miles last year. So you guys are just as happy. But I wanted to ask the girls as well, and then I got another question for you. But first to the girls, we talk about culture and we talk about where this program was before. Talk about that culture within you guys and how you guys continue to work together as teammates and leaders within this program to instill that culture that Coach Gregory has brought in and not try to get too high in terms of where you guys are at right now, but knowing where you want to be as well.
Okay. We definitely have a good group of girls, but we also like to stay humble with ourselves, and we're not going to overlook any team based on what they did last year or what they have now. And I think that is helping us.
I would say that going along with what Geneva said, just remaining humble, also remembering like where we come from and what we've established and what we've built. I think that, you know, that's going to motivate us throughout the season.
I say what Geneva said. We got a good team this year, and the conference and the teams that we got, we want to stay humble and not overlook anybody, because any game can slip by our fingers, so we just try to stay humble.
And then my second questions for you, Coach. We talked about playing with Geneva, playing with you, having your daughters play with you. You had one come through who was really special as well. How special is that for you personally, though, getting to coach your daughters and see them grow? And we've seen them grow as much as they have, but to get to see that firsthand as a dad and a coach.
It's a special situation. You know, being able to, first of all, having an opportunity to coach basketball just alone, but to be able to coach two of your daughters. I still got one more that's in 6th grade right now, so I'm waiting on her to come through. But hopefully I'll be able to coach her as well. But it's a special moment. And yes, the coach's kid always gets the worst in a good way. You know, it's actually helped me grow as a coach because I treat all of my players like they're mine, you know. So just having that, being able to coach your kid, I mean, it's a special thing. If I had a son, being able to coach him, which I don't, you know, that would be special.
So, Coach, you know, I know last year you had an awesome run, right? So I know there's a team that you probably might be looking forward to facing again this year, and the same thing for the girls. What is that one team or one moment that you wish you can get back and, you know, to be able to face again?
Last year's run was very special. We obviously went to the regionals and had to meet Nashville, and they showed us a lot. And shout out to Nashville because I called him and he agreed to come and play us this year. But I definitely, and I think the girls definitely would like to go and play that game over because, like I said, they showed us a lot that we could have done better as a team, especially their endurance. But one team in particular, no, I have the entire calendar circled because, again, my goal is to win those 2 championships, whether it's the conference and the state. So, but.
Okay. So, with that being said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all for coming out, giving us the opportunity to get an inside look at your program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Okay, up next we have Jonesboro High School boys basketball with head coach Wes Swift leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having us.
Man, it's awesome. Appreciate you guys coming out.
Yes, sir.
First of all, Coach, introduce yourself. Introduce the guys that you brought along with you.
Absolutely. I'm Wes Swift. I'm the boys basketball coach here at Jonesboro High School, going into my 16th year here at Jonesboro, my 31st overall. That's crazy to say. It just doesn't seem 31 years ago that we were just getting started doing this. I brought 4 seniors with me. To my far left is Adam Rutherford. Right here to my left is C.J. Larry. To my right, Luke Baltz. And on the far end over here is D.J. Johnson. Again, these are all seniors for us this year.
Yeah. Coach, considering the huge success you have over the years, what's some of your goals and expectations coming into this season?
Now, it's so funny. We do radio and stuff up in Northeast Arkansas and TV stuff or whatever. And I just tell them all the time, newspaper stuff, whatever. I said I'm the most boring interview of all time. But honestly, it's what we do. And until you come in and watch and see what we do, it's an everyday thing. Our job today is to win today. Is to be a little bit better than we were yesterday. And when they're not doing that, they're going to catch probably my bad side. When they are, we have a lot of fun in practice. But honestly, that's what we're trying to do. And if you do that, you throw a little talent in there, you come together near the end of the year, the wins and losses, they'll take care of themselves.
Coach, everybody knows that you're a defensive-minded guy, and your team is always defensively locked in. Where do that come from?
Well, always, your always and my always are different. I can tell that already. We are not always locked in. When we are, I think we can be pretty good. It does come from me. It's when I was young, I felt like I understood the defensive part of the game first. Hopefully I'm a better offensive coach now, but yes, defenses come naturally to me as far as an understanding. I'm a big man-to-man guy. We will play zone when needed. These guys are really good. It could be a really good defensive group. We went through a little 3-year run before last year, and I told a lot of people that was a big part because we had multiple guys that can guard the ball. A lot of teams will throw one guy out there and say they're going to try and take your best score away or whatever. We can honestly put 2 or 3 guys out there that we feel comfortable and being really good and keeping the ball in front of us. And the more people you can get to guard the ball and keep it in front of you, the less times you're going to be put in rotation. And that's kind of the key to what we do.
And Coach, I remember talking to you about probably this time 2 years ago, and one of the big things that you had mentioned moving to 6A was the travel, because you're used to going to Mary and all these different places that are a lot closer. Well, I do understand, you're just ready for the one that's next up on your schedule. What's something that you've learned in the last 2 years about travel and just keeping your mind right for those long bus rides?
It didn't change much, except when I answered this question 2 years ago, it was like we had that 5A East or 6A East, whatever they called it back then, down to a science as far as when we left for each opponent, when we wanted to arrive at the gym, both for JV games or for varsity games, and that was just going to be new. And so, honestly, it was just trying to navigate when we're going to go through a part of Little Rock at a certain time to get to Bryant, et cetera. And it was just an arrival thing. There's been no other issues.
So, Coach, when you talk about your philosophy, your mindset, what's some of the challenges you see with this team coming in? What's some of the challenges you see coming to this season?
Challenges for our team in particular will be, it sounds like a broken record again, I just feel like we just haven't had a lot of size in our 15 or 16 years at Jonesboro. There's been years where, decent size, but we've never been the guys, I don't think anybody's ever written about and goes, man, Jonesboro's just going to pound people in the paint. We haven't had that. And this is going to be another one of those years. We're going to walk out of the locker room and you're going to see 6'4" and below. That's what we have. I think we have really good size on the perimeter. I think our length on the perimeter is really good. But, a lot of times games come down to that last 2 minutes, both in conference and in the state tournament. And, it's who, if you're playing with a lead, can you rebound the ball when the other team quits worrying about transition and just starts sending 5 to the glass at a desperate, can you go get that rebound? That worries me. if you got a big that can play in the post, the other team wants to feed down there, are we going to be able to do that without doubling? If we are doubling the post, how is our rotation out of it? Is it going to be good enough? So those are the things we're going to have to deal with this year and figure out as the year goes on.
Right on. So that non-conference schedule and going into your conference, talk about how your non-conference schedule is going to correlate with your conference schedule.
Well, I've listened to several of the interviews y'all done over the last couple of days, and it's a great question. And I think the teams you bring in here are teams that feel like, they've got an opportunity to do some big things. And if you're not scheduling up, then you're not getting it. And I think everybody that's here is trying to schedule tougher games to create, every scenario we might see in conference or a state tournament, you won't have seen it in the non-conference, from size, from quickness, from teams that play methodical to really good shooting teams, to really good driving, et cetera. We think about two things. If we put somebody on the schedule, is it going to challenge us do we have to play together and tough to have a chance to win that game? And if we don't have to do those two things, yeah, we might get a W, but it's not going to make us better. It's not going to prepare us to play Fayetteville sitting here next. It's not going to prepare us to play them. It's not. It's not going to prepare us to play Bryant or North Little Rock. And so that's how we schedule. Is it going to prepare us for what's down the road?
So this is to the players. Talk about the camaraderie. Talk about the chemistry that you guys have, gained over the summer and over the practice, even over the years, considering a lot of you guys have been on a championship team.
I think that our chemistry improves every day, as far as we go through tough practices each and every day, and going through hard things with other people makes you stronger, I believe. And also, we were a part of that state championship team in 2023. We had a lot of seniors that showed us the right way to do things, and we're kind of trying to make it our own, do it our own way this year.
Going off of what Luke said, just having those intense practices every day for the past 3 years with the same seniors, our chemistry just gets better every day. So.
Every day is a hard practice. I just feel like if one person gets going, I feel like it dies down to the rest of us, and I feel like that's what we need to have. We got a lot of people that can lead on this team. I just feel like that practice every day, we just need to, be more, more into practice, coming in with focus.
I just think that we feed off each other well. How we've grown with each other over the past few years, going through good and bad. And so it just built us together as a brotherhood, as a family, and it's just making us better every day.
Coach, watching your teams throughout the years, it's pretty clear that they play together, they play as a team. People have clearly defined roles. You brought 4 guys back here. You leaned on them last year. You're going to be leaning on them more this year. Tell us about, their roles and what you're adding onto them, not just on the court production, but maybe off the court leadership.
Absolutely. We felt like, and I love my seniors that graduated last year, love them to death, but their commitment probably wasn't what it had been in the past from seniors, and these guys know that. We've talked about it, and they've been really good. Our April and May last year was as good of an April and May as we've had in a long time, and isn't it crazy how, going through less success than what you're used to kind of drives that a little bit, but it honestly did. This June was really good for us, played good competition. We didn't play a lot of games this year. I think we only played 12 this summer, but it was all against competition that brings these guys together. And I think the word DJ was looking for a while ago was trust. We're trying to put these kids in situations where you're not going to get trust by not going through easy things. You get trust. You start trusting people when you go through hard things together and you come out on the other side. And that's what we're trying to get to with these guys right now. And they're a lot further ahead than last year. We said in January, we had 5 of our top 9 play football last year. We hadn't had that since I've been at Jonesboro. And I did a poor job of figuring that out. But I said in January last year, we're 6 weeks behind where we normally are. We got to the state tournament and everybody tried to dial in, and we actually did up our play and played a little better in the state tournament. But again, we were about 4 or 6 weeks behind. I would say we're probably on schedule or ahead of schedule is where the past teams have been right now.
You answered one of the questions I was going to ask, so.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I go to the next one. So this is for CJ and possibly for the rest of you guys. CJ, I watched you over the summer, and I noticed that you picked up a few offers, and I think you're committed now. So talk about your leadership role, and talk about how it has it been, considering that you're garnered in that position, and talk about how you're translating that to the rest of the guys.
I feel like just being a leader. I feel like the 3 guys with me right now, they can lead just as well as I can. And I feel like this year is just about holding each other accountable more, because last year we didn't have a lot of that, and it showed. So,
yeah. Luke?
I feel like no matter what's going on outside, you know, the leadership role like doesn't change. Like we have to be consistent every single day in practice, and I think like what CJ said, we just need to do a better job of holding each other accountable, and that'll make our team stronger.
Okay, so I know you guys have a target on your back, considering Jonesboro has been, you know, a 3-time champion back to back to back. You guys have a target on your back. Talk to us how you handle that pressure. You know, talk about it.
That pressure is nothing new to us. We know what we signed up for coming into this program, but coaches push us hard every day, so we get pressure from them and pressure from each other. So it's something we look forward to and attack head on.
I feel like it's a good thing, because that actually motivates us to, you know, come in and do the right things. I feel like everybody wants to beat Jonesboro, and I feel like that was, you know, the emphasis last year. Everybody wants to beat Jonesboro, and we didn't take it in how we should take it.
Yeah, so with that being said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming. Oh, Coach, before we do that, Coach, I want to ask you one question. I did want to ask this.
Okay.
So, Coach, you've been coaching for, say, 31 plus years now. What would you tell the up-and-coming, what advice would you give the up-and-coming coaches that's looking to step into a role such
Man, you know, it's changed so much since Brad and I got started, you know, 31 years ago, and there's so much these kids have to deal with on a daily basis. And I think relationships with the kids, it would be something I wish I'd have done a better job of early in my career. That matters. It matters more than wins and losses do. And then number 2 would be, and I don't even know if this is where you were going or not, but clinics. I just don't see the young kids at clinics and getting to know some of these coaches, man, and networking and forming relationships with them. And so that'd probably be my 2 big things, yeah.
Okay, with that being said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all coming down, giving us the opportunity to get an inside look at your program. Thanks,
Thank you,
Coach.
guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Okay, up next we have BB High School boys basketball with head coach Lee Wimberly leading the way. How you doing, Coach?
Doing good. How about y'all?
We're doing great, Coach. Introduce yourself, and could you introduce your players that you brought with you?
Sure can. I'm Coach Wimberly. Been around a little bit. This is year 23, 24 for me. I set out last year. Was it Wynn, Cabot, and then Manila, and then tried the administration role for a year. Not my forte. I brought senior Ryan Rabin, junior Caleb Langston, senior Caleb Overstreet, and then junior Gunnar Rogers.
So, Coach, I'm just going to be honest. Whenever I found out you were going into an administrative role, I texted Coach Matheny and I said, "This is not going to last long."
It didn't. It didn't. It was miserable. I tried it though. I tried it, and so can't look back and go. At least I tried. It was not my style.
Well, look, you're in a new spot, building a new culture. Just tell us a little bit about getting there and getting BB basketball. Back to what it was several years ago. It took a little dip. What are you instilling? What's Coach Wimbo instilling at BB?
First thing we had to do is we had to get them to compete daily, and that's the number one thing I think that we had to tackle as a coaching staff. Got great kids. They've been beat down a little bit over the last few years. Haven't won a lot of games, and these seniors have had 5 different head coaches in 5 years. I'm their 5th head coach, and that's tough. That's a new system every year, and so when things don't start, when they're not going your way in the season, and it's tough to keep coming in every day and battling every day. And so that was the first thing we did, was just talk to them about competing with each other, competing against the clock, everything we do, we keep score. And that was the first thing that we did there, is get them to buy into that, and then we hit the weight room. And we're not huge. We're very small as far as height. We don't have anybody over 6'3" this year, but we've got a guy on the end there that's benching almost 250. This kid right here, he can power clean 245 and jump out of the gym. So those are things that we felt like we could do and kind of, I guess, even the playing field a little bit. We play in 5A Central, so we know what we're against, and we know what we're going to have to do to be competitive. And so that was the first thing, and really that's what we've been instilling in them since day one is competition.
I'm going to start with the players, and we can just start right down here. Coach Wimberly's a winner. He has a winning culture. That's his history. So just tell us a little bit about that. What are you guys looking forward to? What have you experienced since he took over? That's been a change from you guys. A little bit more stability, a little better culture. Tell us how you guys have taken that, adapted, and how you're looking forward to moving forward throughout the year.
He just cares about He just cares about the little things more than a lot of other coaches, and he's really heavy on defense. So I don't know, we do that the most during practice, and yes, all I got. I don't know.
What I'm looking forward to is winning the next game, going on the line, and he's probably one of the best coaches we ever had because he pushes us. Other coaches didn't care that much, and yeah.
He pushes us to work our absolute hardest every day, daily, and looking forward to winning as many games as possible.
Yeah, what he said. He pushes us a lot, makes us try as hard as we can, and helps us get our head higher, and helps us compete.
Coach, at the moment, what would you say has been your biggest challenge since you've transitioned over?
I mean, let's just be honest that they've won seven games 2 years ago, 6 last year. Had some talent, just didn't. I mean, things just didn't go right. I think they had 2 really good coaches. I think Coach Jones did a phenomenal job last year. They just never gelled as a team. So that was the first, and I'm going to keep going back to this, is we had to teach them to, when things don't go your way, when adversity jumps in your face, and it's going to jump in your face daily, you have to respond. You can't worry about the last play, next play, next man up mentality, I think one of them said next game, and that's what we've been talking about. I think it was this one right here the other day. We're in the lunchroom, and he's talking about, I can't wait to play this guy. I can't wait to play this team. I can't wait to play this team. I went, man, we don't play them till like game 10, 13. I said, what about the first game? And he's like, yeah, I'm ready to play that one too. So, that's what the mentality of just getting in there every day and just battling with each other. And the more you compete, the more it becomes, that's your nature. I mean, you've got you've got to battle in practice. Then that's going to be much more common in our games.
So I want to say unfamiliar territory because you've always been the basketball coach. That you've always been the basketball coach. So how do you navigate in unfamiliar territory?
As far as
being in a new area, new school.
Yeah. I was at Cabot. Got to coach under Jerry Bridges for 3 years, which was phenomenal. Coached under Bobby Gross. Used to go to Shiloh and play Coach Stamps. I've been around basketball for 23 years in Arkansas, and we've competed against Central Arkansas teams. I keep up with Central Arkansas teams. If you know basketball in Arkansas, you know where the talent is. It's in Northwest and it's in Central. Northeast is basketball crazy. They love it, but usually your college players are coming out of the Central area, and lately some out in the Northwest. So we know what we're up against. It's no surprise. I know who's on our schedule. At the end of the day, we've got to go out there every day. Not game days, not some games here and there. I'm talking about every day. When we get in the weight room, every day. When we practice, every day. And just compete our tails off, and eventually it's going to pay off.
So what do you see some of the strengths are as so far in your team?
I've been very surprised with our shooting. We can shoot the ball, and we've been working on it a lot. I've got a couple kids that can really attack the basket. I've always been a dribble drive guy. That's my thing. I love it. I love to attack. At first, we had that was just not in our mentality. We had no idea of what attacking looked like. This guy right here is a phenomenal jumper. We measured him the other day, and his vertical's right at 40, and so he likes to shoot a pull-up. Well, he's really good at shooting pull-ups. They don't get to shoot pull-ups. They're going to the basket to get fouled or shooting threes, and that's the thing. We've got to know our role. But I've been very surprised with the way they've worked. I didn't know the first 2 months. I was like, what have I done? I've made a mistake again, taking the wrong job, and then all of a sudden they jumped on board, and it's been a lot of fun. We practiced this morning. We lifted and practiced this morning, and first 15 minutes of practice wasn't real pretty. Kind of got after him. He's our senior leader, and he turned it around, and we finished really strong. And so those are the things right now that we're looking at is just day to day. Are we getting better day to day? And as long as we're doing that, good things can happen for you.
Speaking of strong, just how important is it to get out to a strong start for the season?
I think, any time, for us, it's going to be very important. Anytime you've been beat or you're coming off a losing season, then you want to see some success early. Now, does that mean wins for us? I don't know yet. Coaches, we talk about it a lot, is what is success for our team? And we've talked about it with these guys. We've set goals. We've written them down. They're visible for them. And I think they're very realistic. They definitely want to improve and win more games. And, our conference, you can look at it. Everybody knows who's in it. They went winless last year, and that's not acceptable for any of us. That's not acceptable for them. That's not acceptable for me. So we've got to get to a point where we can compete with those teams and then steal a couple. And but early success is always important. When you have a winning program, like Fayetteville, they can lose a few games early, but because they're playing some of the best teams around in the nation. I got to a point in Manila where we could lose some games early in the season. It didn't really matter because they weren't conference games. They were getting us better. But with us, I think we need to win some games. We've got some games early that I think are very good measuring sticks for us onto where we'll fit when the games start counting.
So this is to the players. Considering coach come in, initiating a new offense, new mentality, new philosophy. Talk about just how you guys have embraced that, and talk about how the chemistry is at this point.
How's your chemistry? How do y'all play
We all
together?
play pretty good together, I feel like. It's been the same group for the past couple years, so it's just a new environment with the way he pushes us and stuff like that and encourages us. So I don't know, I just feel like we've gotten a lot better since last year, like our mentality.
Ever since Coach Wimbo came along, it's pretty much what he said. Our connection's been better, our chemistry's been better, and everything about us going harder is just a lot more, better.
Feel like we trust each other as a team. We can all shoot the ball really good and drive pretty well, so yeah.
I think our chemistry's got a lot better, and we've tried a lot harder.
Trying harder is a huge thing, and I know there's, you take that for granted. You really do. As a coach that's been somewhere, I was there at a place for 11 straight years. I didn't have to worry about that anymore. I'd gotten to a point where every kid that came into our senior high program already knew what was the standard. You come to a new place, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got to teach them how to play hard every day. And that's been, it's been tough. But they have finally grasped. It was really after dead weeks they came back with a different mentality, and it's been good since then.
Okay, so with that being said, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you all for coming out, and thanks for giving us the opportunity.
Really thank y'all for having us.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, up next we have Fayetteville High School boys basketball with head coach Brad Stamps. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you guys having us.
Coach, thank you all for coming. Introduce yourself and introduce who you brought with you, please.
Yeah, Brad Stamps, Fayetteville High School. It's my 6th year as a head coach back at my alma mater. Started there years ago, and now we're back. And so today we did it a little different. I know said bring 4, but we felt like we've got 9 seniors, and I wanted all 9 to travel and be here for lots of reasons. One is we just feel like this group that's here with us today, and I'll introduce each one of them here in just a second, is a group that just has changed a lot for us as coaches. Everybody's using the standard, the culture, and all those things, but really this group has been a part of change in just our everyday approach. It's changed maybe the way we do things on a day-to-day, and the change was a good thing. And so it's a breath of fresh air to come to work every day with this group, and so we brought them all. I've got Quincy Bradford here today. I've got Beckham Crone. I've got Stephen Toston. I've got Colson Crone, Tyler Bell, Odie Williams, Xavier Brown, Jackson Jorgensen, and Paul Dante Adams are our 9 seniors.
Coach, Fayetteville, part of that 6A gauntlet. Talk about the non-conference schedule and talk about your conference schedule, just how important it is, for your team to get that adversity early.
Absolutely, and it's at Fayetteville High School, the scheduling part of it is, and we're just carrying over what it's always been, is we want to play the best that's out there for several reasons. We feel like if you're going to compete when it matters the most, you better play everybody that's out there, and we don't dodge that. We don't schedule wins. We schedule teams that feel like are going to push us where we have to be at our best to win. And you look at our strength of schedule, and, we were talking about this as a staff yesterday. I don't know if we're in the top 5 strength of schedule if you look at it, but, we open up. We're playing a benefit game with Little Rock Christian on the 11th, so we're coming up here playing the defending 2-time champs. And then we play in the showcase against Benton with Terry on, and then it doesn't get any easier. We go to Little Rock Central. And so even the tournaments we're going to, we've hosted our own. We've got a team from New York City coming in, and so we feel like our non-conference schedule is really difficult, and we're looking forward to attacking that because we feel like it's going to make us better when it matters the most.
Yeah. So just to the players coming into this season, talk about just how you guys' chemistry has been, and talk about what your mentality is coming into this game.
Well, as y'all know, last year we lost a lot of players, a lot of seniors. We had a good group last year, but the chemistry really wasn't there. This year, I know all 9 of us seniors, as you can see, we're all here. It just shows how close we are, our bond together. We're always here coming to work every day, and I feel like our bond makes it better because we know every day we want to come in and we come in and we're ready to practice because we're so close together, and we just have a good bond like that.
Just with our team, when we started this, we always have a meeting at the beginning of the year, and something we really talk about is being bought in. Last year, I didn't think we were very bought in just with the little details, and this year we've been big on just buying in, taking care of the little details, and holding each other accountable. This group of seniors, we've been together for at least 8-9 years now, and we love each other and make sure everybody stays motivated and ready for practice each and every day.
As Coach Stamp said, there has been a lot of change, especially this year and in the past, but really this group brings the energy every day in practice, and we'll continue to. There's going to be bumps in the road and things we're always going to have to work on, but I think that we brought it so far, and the non-conference schedule that we have coming up is going to prepare us for the conference season.
Just to piggyback off everybody else, it's just the culture, the want that everybody comes in to practice every day. We haven't really had all of that these past few years, so it's real good, real refreshing, not just for the coaches, but for us too. And so I'm excited.
Coach, you got to like those answers. My question's going to build off their answers right here.
Sure.
You found it interesting, but us standing back here watching it as well, it's pretty interesting. You brought 9 seniors. We can
Yeah.
only fit 4 up here.
Yeah.
You didn't pick those 4. You let these guys pick, and it was fast.
Yeah.
Boom. They just chose 4. So tell us, number one, just culture of these guys as a whole. But I'd like to know, what you're putting on these, not only these 4, but all of these seniors, not only production on the court, but
Yeah.
leadership off.
No, I think it's very important. And, I think every coach at the end of a season should do a hard autopsy on what just took place and what happened. And we were really, I would say, tough on ourselves just by the way, maybe things slipped through that we didn't handle the right way. And so, we take ownership of that. And so the challenge for these guys was, let's come in and let's figure out a way to make sure we're doing the little things better. We always talk about, and it's cliche, but you hear, a coach-led team versus a player-led team. And most of the time, or a lot of the times in my career, 30-plus career, is maybe sometimes I've forced that too much. This group, we didn't have to force that. It was there. They hold each other accountable. The little detailed things that, you take for granted, they take care of it before we ever have to. The group text with these guys, they're always, making sure that the locker room's clean and, nobody walks out of there unless stuff's picked up. And, everywhere we go, we want to leave it better than the way it was. And this group they've really identified some of those things that are important, and they've taken ownership of it.
I want to go back to the New York City game now. I know you guys have played tournaments in Florida. We've got teams that, boys and girls around the state that play a lot of out-of-state competition. How did that one go about getting set up?
Last year was the first year. Some of you guys that have been around longer than others, in years past, we had what they called the Holiday Hoops Tournament, where we were bringing in national teams to Bud Walton Arena. And we got away from that for a while. And when Coach Muss was here, Ronnie Brewer, as you know, the connection with us and one of our alumni, had reached out about, bringing some of that Holiday Hoops flavor back to Northwest Arkansas. And so he put us in contact with a guy who was a basketball junkie and owned some businesses and wanted to start a tournament again. And so last year was the first one, Hooping on the Hill. And so we had Plano East, Texas last year won our tournament. They ended up 41-0, I believe, and ranked in the top 5 in the country. They beat us in the finals. We had a Wasso that was there with the Montanati kid. And so it's gotten stronger. You put a good tournament together and word gets out. We're fortunate to where our sponsorships, they provide hotels and meals for these teams that are coming in. And the New York City thing was kind of interesting because if you'll remember, Gary Irvin was a point guard of the Razorbacks back in the day. He's the head coach of Nazareth in New York City, and he saw that we were hosting and wanted to get back to Northwest Arkansas and reached out. They got beaten in the state finals last year by Boogie Flynn's team, and so we know they're going to come. They're flying in. If a team's flying into a tournament, they're pretty good. And so we've got 4 Arkansas in-state teams, and then we've got 4 out-of-state teams, and so we feel like the field's going to be really strong.
So, Coach, we had a chance to watch you at the Big Miller Teen Camp. This team played fast.
Yeah.
Talk about just your philosophy on playing fast and getting up and down the court.
No, it's the style of play. We've talked about some of the change with the chemistry and the day-to-day stuff, but even the style, our coaches are sitting here, Coach Rose and Coach Brown, and it's been a collective responsibility between us of just trying to find the best way to approach this. We don't have great size, and I know the 2 previous coaches had mentioned that. We don't. But we do have good length on the perimeter and in some of our spots, and we feel like for us, we shoot it really well. It's a big strength of ours. And so we want to try to push the tempo and push pace, and these guys are probably tired of hearing pace in practice. But everything we do, we want to play with pace, and that's getting the ball and pushing the ball up the floor on offense, making plays, getting paint touches. And so I can't imagine back in my day a coach telling me and our teammates to shoot it every time you've got a good look. But these guys do, most of these guys do, have the ultimate green light, and we want them shooting the ball with confidence. They've poured in, they've wore the guns out, the shooting guns out, and so we've seen the results, and so we're going to play to their strengths, and that's playing fast on offense.
So speaking of that, for the players, just how playing fast and being able to kind of dictate the pace and get those looks Coach is talking about, how has that played into your game?
Well, coaches make it obvious that we know we want to put pace. So every time we put pace, we get an open shot. You know, every time open shots. I mean, it just helps us because we're not a small team. We're all guards, so every time we play with pace, the bigger teams won't be able to catch up with us. So we'll just get quicker buckets faster than they get back on defense.
Yeah, our pace, it doesn't start in the games. Obviously, it starts in practice, and that's something they teach us. I mean, we go back and we watch the film over and over again by ourselves, and like they call us out on it. And sometimes they'll catch us lacking, and they'll stop the whole practice, make us redo it all over again, or we'll just get on the line and run. I mean, we're not the tallest, so we got to be faster than everybody else. And I mean, just the pace, that's something that's just, it's part of our culture. It's been year in, year out. You know, Jaden Haney, he was one of the fastest guards that I've played alongside or been with. So I'm just trying to piggyback on him and push the ball as fast as we can and beat the opposing team on the other end of the other court.
I really believe that our pace, playing fast, what the coaches have been preaching to us, can make up for our lack of size. As you all know, and Coach Stamps had talked about, and with this group, I think each and every one of us hold each other accountable to that, along with the coaching staff, and they've done a phenomenal job of getting film together for all of us, studying it, and as well as the plays.
I feel like our pace goes back to our culture and just how everybody, all 9 of us here at least, our dynamic is to keep stressing it out to not to each other every time we're slacking. And because we don't have the same team that we've had, or like the same type of team that we've had, this is a different team, different dynamic. And as long as everybody bought in, we'll be good.
Coach, you've been doing this for a long time, and you've been doing some changes before with roster. Is there anything that these guys, either these 9 guys or some other guys you left, have done during the offseason or during recent practices that surprised you to the point where maybe you didn't expect them to do this or them to do that, you know, whether it's positive or even negative, either one?
You know, I don't know, surprise, Eric. You know, and the biggest thing for us is we made a commitment a long time ago as a staff to not look back or to not look at what we've lost or what has graduated and really focus in on what we do have. You know, and so I think what we do have is a group that is connected, that you'll hear about. We've done some things. Coach Brown has come up with some things to really push the connection piece, which is important, that we try to do every week. And, you know, I think, Eric, you know, over the years, when we first started, it was real easy to preach playing for the pride of your community, and the name on the front of your shirt meant something. I think we've lost that as a whole, not just in high school, but just in general. And this group has really embodied that again. You know, when I talk about they've rejuvenated us, yeah, you're right. I've been in this a long time, and I've seen a lot of things. And this group has rejuvenated the coaching staff and the fact that these kids do want to play for their community, and the pride. And, you know, there's 9 of them here, and each one of them has their own personal story about how they got here. And so we want to share those stories, but we also want to value those. They've been patient. They've been loyal. They've stayed the course. When things got difficult, they just kept staying the course. And so I'm proud of that and proud of these guys for doing that.
Okay, Coach. Okay, so that concludes our interview. Obviously, that concludes our interview. We appreciate you guys coming down, and thanks for allowing us to get a chance to get an inside peek on what you guys' outlook will be.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, so that concludes session 1 of Big Miller Basketball Media Days. We'll be back at 12:30.